A phone vibration, a distant crossing bell. Then silence. Narrator, calm, controlled. At 2:17 a.m., a woman named Evelyn Hart sent one message to her best friend. Not a goodbye, not a confession, a warning. On screen, text message. If I'm not home by sunrise, don't call the police first. Play the audio. 12 minutes later, Evelyn disappeared. No struggle in the street, no screams reported, no clear face on any camera. Just one thing, a voice note that lasts 12 seconds. And inside those 12 seconds, there's a gap. A missing piece of time so small you almost won't notice it until you realize it's the moment she understood she was going to die. Because the audio doesn't capture a kidnapping, it captures something worse. It captures permission. Title card. Evelyn Hart was 26, a copy editor for a boutique media firm. Smart, private, punctual. The kind of person who returns phone calls. The kind of person who never leaves a story unfinished. Her routine was precise enough to be boring. Leaves the office between 1:40 and 1:55 a.m. Walks 2 blocks to the rideshare pickup lane. Home by 2:20 a.m. Lights out by 2:45. That night was supposed to be exactly the same. Reenactment. Fluorescent office lights. Evelyn shutting down a computer, putting on a coat. But earlier that week, Evelyn told her friend Mara something strange. Mara, reenactment dialogue. Do you ever get the feeling someone is watching you, but you can't describe them after? Evelyn wasn't talking about paranoia. She was describing a very specific sensation, as if her brain refused to hold on to the details. A faceless presence, a shadow that wouldn't stay in memory. Mara told her to take a different route home, to share her location, to report it. Evelyn nodded and did none of that. Because Evelyn believed, like most people do, that danger announces itself loudly. A breaking window, a stranger's hand, a scream. But the crimes that swallow people whole often begin politely. Sound effects, elevator ding, night air, distant traffic. At 2:11 a.m., Evelyn left the building. At 2:17 a.m., she sent the text. At 2:18 a.m., Mara replied, "What audio, Evelyn?" No response. At 2:19 a.m., Mara called. Sound effects, ringing, then voicemail. At 2:20 a.m., Evelyn's phone went offline. Not dead, not out of service, offline, like someone toggled the device into silence. And that's when the case officially began as a missing adult. But it wasn't a missing adult. It was a staged vanishing. At 7:04 a.m., Mara finally did what the message told her to do. She played the audio. Evidence item A, voice note length, 012. At first, you hear something that almost sounds like laughter, a quick, breathy exhale. Then, silence. Then, at the end, breathing. Not Evelyn's. A deeper, slower breath, like someone close to the microphone, trying not to be heard. And underneath it all, a faint, repeating sound, a warning bell, mechanical, rhythmic. Mara didn't recognize it, But Evelyn would have, because Evelyn lived near only one place in the city where that bell sang at night, a railway crossing called Blackwater Gate. Reenactment, police lab, audio waveform on a screen. Investigators enhanced the recording. The laughter wasn't laughter. It was Evelyn trying to speak and stopping herself. The silence wasn't empty. It was the moment she realized she wasn't alone. And the breathing at the end, that was someone leaning in close, the kind of closeness you don't get from strangers at a distance. It meant Evelyn wasn't taken in a rush. She was taken in a conversation. Police pulled traffic footage, transit cameras, storefront angles. But around Blackwater Gate, the cameras were either pointed wrong, blocked by glare, or under maintenance. Too many accidents for a single location. Too much luck for a random abduction. Then the case turned. Not because police found Evelyn, but because someone found Evelyn's second life. When investigators searched Evelyn's apartment, they found what you'd expect. Neat shelves, untouched dishes, her keys on the counter. Nothing broken, nothing forced. But on her desk there was a laptop. No password prompt. It opened like Evelyn wanted someone to find it. Inside was a folder titled DSF, If Anything Happens. Not subtle, not poetic, practical. Inside were 9 short audio clips, each only a few seconds long, all recorded late at night. Each clip had one common detail: breathing. The same breathing pattern, the same calm rhythm. A man who knew how to control his presence. And there was a final file, different from the rest. A video, grainy, dim, shot through glass. Evelyn is inside a car. You never see her fully, only fragments. Her hands, a sleeve, the reflection of streetlights across her eyes. And then, in the driver's side reflection, a ring, a distinctive ring, a serpent shape. The camera shakes. Evelyn's voice becomes a whisper. Evelyn, video audio, reenactment. Mara, if you get this, I was right. It's not a stranger. It's someone who knows the city's blind spots. Then a voice from the front seat, male, smooth, almost gentle. You're doing great. Just stay calm. It wasn't a threat. It was coaching, the kind of tone used on someone who is already trapped. Police immediately focused on Evelyn's workplace, because predators don't always hunt with weapons. Sometimes they hunt with access. At Evelyn's office, there was one person everyone described the same way. Helpful, reliable, safe. His name was Graham Sloan, a senior editor, well-liked, professionally invisible. The type of man whose presence doesn't create alarms, it creates comfort. Graham told detectives he stayed late that night. He had proof, badge logs, internal security footage, a time-stamped email sent at 2:06 a.m. A perfect alibi. But perfect alibis have a weakness. They're often built like stage sets, real enough from the front, empty behind the wall. Detectives reviewed the footage carefully. At 1:58 a.m., Graham is seen walking toward the break room. At 2:03 a.m., he appears again near the elevators. But there's a problem. Between those moments, the camera glitches. Not long, only seconds. A flicker, a digital hiccup. Barely worth noticing unless your entire case depends on what happened inside missing seconds. A technician later described it as an overwrite event, as if someone inserted a clean image frame into a dirty timeline. Not amateur work, not random failure. Then police searched Graham's car. It was immaculate. No stains, no hair, no fingerprints that didn't belong. The trunk looked like it had never been used. And that's when the lead detective said something chilling in the report. Too clean to be innocent. Because real life leaves mess, only staged life looks perfect. Then a break came from the one person nobody suspected, the night guard. The building's night guard, Eli Mercer, didn't want to talk. Not because he was guilty, because he was afraid. When detectives showed him Evelyn's photo, Eli's mouth went dry. He didn't ask who she was. He said, "I told her not to get in." That sentence changed everything. Eli admitted that around 2:10 a.m. he saw Evelyn outside near the pickup lane. She wasn't alone. A car was waiting, dark color, clean windows. Evelyn stood near it like she was deciding whether to enter, and the man inside never got out. He didn't grab her, he didn't chase her, he simply waited, like he knew she'd step in. Eli couldn't describe his face, only his hand, the serpent ring. And then Eli said something that didn't sound like a witness statement. It sounded like a confession of someone who failed to save a life. He said Evelyn looked at him once, not for help, for permission, as if she was thinking, maybe I'm overreacting. And the guard looked away, because normal people look away all the time. That's how evil survives in public. Detectives rushed to Blackwater Gate, a rail crossing, an industrial strip, old warehouses and empty lots. The bell in the voice note matched perfectly. Search teams combed the area. No body, no blood, but they found something small. A charm bracelet, silver, with a single letter, E. And tucked beneath a broken pallet nearby, a USB drive sealed in plastic. Evidence item B, USB drive recovered at Blackwater Gate. On the drive was one video file, no title, no date, just a dark frame, and then a slow reveal. A room, concrete walls, a chair in the center, and a voice, male, close to the mic. Not shouting, not angry, pleased. Male voice, final recording. People think monsters take, but I don't take. I invite. The camera shifts slightly. A hand enters the frame. The serpent ring glints under cheap overhead light. And then the clip ends. No Evelyn, no rescue, no closure. Just a message that feels like a promise. Evelyn Hart was never found. Graham Sloan was questioned, released, then quietly moved out of state. No charges, no confession. And every few months, Mara receives a notification from an unknown number. No text, no threat, just an audio file, 12 seconds long, a breath, a gap, and the sound of a crossing bell. Because some predators don't want to disappear you once, they want to own the fear forever. This was Dark Sence File, and tonight, remember this: the most dangerous trap is the one that feels like a choice.